Okay, hello everyone. I would like to welcome you to the webinar, Sales Manager. And before we begin, can you please let me know on chat that you can hear me properly so that we can go ahead nice and clean? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so before we begin, I would like you all to imagine that you have just bought a new iPhone. A brand new iPhone 14, which is all shiny and new, and you have been waiting to buy it for the longest time. And what do all iPhone users have in common? What do they like? Well, they like iOS. They like their own software. They like their Macs. They like their AirPods. They like their own Apple products, right? This is what all iPhone 14 users like, and basically iOS users. And when you bought it, then you open your inbox and you get an email, right? It's a couple days after you bought the iPhone, and you got an email, and you are happy because it is the firm congratulates you. You have bought your iPhone 14. You get your personalized discount code. You get your accessories exactly for your iPhone. You get your AirPods, you get your iPhone case because you don't want to break it. You got your USB lighting in case you lose that, you lose the previous cable. So you get everything that you want. You are happy you got this email because you got a discount code for all of those. So you can buy them on the lower price. Okay, so this is what makes you happy, right? So personalized or perish. Imagine you receive this: valued customer, buy yourself a new Samsung. This is what we'll be talking about today. How to achieve this, the personalized email, the personalization over the most generic email that most companies send. So welcome you all to Personalize or Perish webinar of Sales Manager. I'm really glad I can see you all. We'll be talking today about personalization, the importance of data that we collect in marketing automation, in engagement with the customers. So let me introduce myself. My name is Michał Andruszków. I am a solution consultant in Sales Manager. I have been here for some time now. I have been working on creating solutions for our prospective clients, and before that I worked in customer success, implementing those solutions for our existing clients. So I have sort of a view on personalization from both sides, before and after. So so this is about me. I'm really glad I can you have all joined today the webinar, and I hope you will gain something from it. Speaking of what we'll be doing today on the webinar, so we'll talk about data privacy and data collection, how it changes, because this is a very dynamic environment. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be exploring zero-party data and first-party data, the importance, the difference, the use cases for them. We'll talk about the Customer Preference Center, which is a prime tool to collect the zero-party data, and we'll be talking why we should use it, why it is so important to have those zero-party data, and what's the difference, how we can utilize them. We'll talk about the strategies on how to implement them. I'll talk to you a little bit about how I used to implement it, because I like to do these sessions from a more practical standpoint, of course, because I believe you all have the knowledge on the data, on zero-party data, on first-party data, on third-party data. But from the technical standpoint and on the practical experience, I'll be just giving you some tips from what works and what can be beneficial. And then we will talk about how to do this personal customer experience. Now, why we're having this webinar? Because you are dedicating your time to spend it here. So why we're doing this? Because today's digital era is very dynamic. It's changing. The approach to the data collection, the data usage is changing. So the laws, the legislations are being implemented, and they impact the collection of the data and use of them very much. And I would like you to leave the webinar with knowledge how to use them, how to you leverage the zero-party data and first-party data to create this personal experience, to avoid sending your customers Samsung if they bought an iPhone. And what you'll benefit. So I will not be reading this to you because I'm sure you perfectly know why you're here already. Okay, so to begin about Sales Manager, because I of course from here we are a customer engagement platform which has been in the business for some time now. We have worked with more than 2,000 of clients from mid-size to enterprise in very many different verticals. So I will actually be talking to you about different examples from different verticals because I'm sure all of you have different businesses, work with different types of clients and on different types of cases. So this is what we'll be talking about today. Now, why we're here? What's the problem? So the personalization of the experience. Why is it important to collect zero-party data? First, zero-party data is the core now of personalization along with first party. Why? Because they are the most reliable type of data. Because the third-party data are being pushed out by softwares. So in order to provide an actual personal experience for the customers, to get them what they actually want instead of what we think they would like to see, then this is the most crucial part to basically gain your conversion, to increase your revenue. Because at the end of the day, this is why we are using tools like Sales Manager, tools like customer engagement platforms to engage with the customers, to get them to the conversion point and to increase the revenue that we have from our marketing campaigns. So to do that effectively, to not just waste your resources on sending multiple campaigns, because if you don't know your database, if you don't know who you're working with, then you just have to spray and pray and see if some of the campaigns work. Of course, for some firms back in the day that worked when we just did a mass marketing and that was it. But today we are in the new era, so we are working with the personalization on a completely new level, and this is why it's so crucial to understand why we are collecting zero-party data, why we are collecting first-party data, and why these are the future instead of just sending everything that you have and seeing what results we can get from this. Now, when it comes to legislations, there has been a lot of changes in recent years in terms of the legislations. I won't be diving into all of those privacy laws, but in essence, those acts, they collectively highlight the increase of the ethical and transparent and consensual data collection, because this is what they enforce on the firms, that if they collect the data, they need to be transparent. They need to give the clients the option to not give the consent to give data, to refute the consent for the data, to just simply opt out from the marketing communication. So all of those legislations, they increase the impact that the customer can have on the privacy law, on the privacy data, because the customer is able to determine whether they want to share the data, what range of the data they want to show. So back before this, there was really everything, anything goes. There was third-party data all over the place. So everywhere you went, you were tracked by different companies who exchange your data, who use your data to show that ads on every page that you go. And now we are going into more informed era. We are going into more client-driven consent laws. So this is basically what those legislations are telling us. And the marketing managers, the companies, they have to adapt. They have to adapt, because with this, the approach of the clients, their mindset is changing. More and more clients are aware that they have the rights to just not give consent to be tracked, to be contacted with marketing communication. So in order to follow that, to to still have this impact on the customers by the companies, they need to adapt. They need to adapt how they collect the data. They need to adapt how they process the data. They need to adapt the transparency that they have with the customers. So this is why the zero-party data is crucial here, because zero-party data is all about transparency. Because as you all know, zero-party data is the data that the customer directly gives to the company. So if I tell the company, hi, I would like to buy black pair of shoes, size 47. This is zero-party data. I told them this, so I expect them to send me those offers. I don't want them to send me other things because I am not interested in those. I came here to your shop, online shop, that being, to buy these exact pair of shoes. So if I told you, if I shared my data, my personal data with the company, I expect them to just communicate with me in that way, because if they don't, then they lose all my and your probably trust, and the trust and relationship with the company is what builds the sales nowadays. So going forward with this, just because I digress a little bit, the third-party cookies, they are being destroyed. They're being eliminated as a whole. So Safari killed the tracking cookie. So it was back in the day. It was some time ago already. Safari implemented the software that the tracking was just removed from the browsers. iOS, the update that limited the use of device ID, which means that the customer, before they began being tracked, they had to consent to being tracked. So iOS made a huge step in the privacy. Then Chrome followed, and they are pushing back the third-party cookies. So tracking and monitoring between the pages, displaying the ads will be that much more difficult without the third-party cookie, which is, in my opinion, amazing, because we should only be tracked where we consent to be tracked, because this gives us a real benefit. Because and to give you a statistic, 83% of the customers, they actually are willing to share their private data, the name, the email address, and the consent to be tracked, if that means they will have this personalized offer, because it just saves time. It's just more comfortable when you go to the website and you get the offers that are actually adjusted to you. So times are really changing, both from the legislation, from the technical standpoint, from the social standpoint, where the customers, how they approach this. So cookies also, let's get back to this. We're still talking about cookies. The cookies are sometimes being deleted. They sometimes are not being agreed to. So cookies, while still being a valuable source of information, are not the like this most reliable one. So what is the answer? If we can't 100% rely on cookies, what is the answer? Is the multi-channel data collection. So if you want to know what the customer wants from you, what you should display, show, and offer to the customer, you simply can ask. And as simple as it is, it really works, because if we just ask the customer, because they understand it, because the social awareness on the advertising is being raised. So okay, can you guys hear me? Because I don't know if you Okay, thank you. Okay, so back to the point. The customer preference center is a tool that lets the customers just share willingly the data. We don't require anything to be shared from the customer, because this is not a contact form. This is not something, give me your data and I'll give you something. No, this is basically a form that can be implemented into the profile of the customer on the website. It can be implemented in a welcome program. So when we send a welcome program to the customer, when they sign up for us, that we can just give them some company information and also invite them to fill in more information about themselves, telling them why we want them to do that, because we want to provide only relevant information to you. We don't want to send you the offers that you're not interested in, because this is both the waste of your time and a little bit of ours. So we just want to give you the right offer. So customer preference center first gives us the data that we desperately require, because all today's automation, all today's marketing is built on data. The biggest fundament of building any campaign in today's marketing is data, because of course it is a strategy to just send the content to the customer, send as much of it, and well, sometimes the volume transfers into the revenue. But if we want to save the costs, if we don't want to burn our marketing budget on all those campaigns, if we want to work efficiently, then working on data, building the campaigns on data is the key. Now, this is not all, because this gives us one more crucial and enormous advantage. Because if the customer asks us, I mean, we ask the customer, what do you want to receive? Which channel of communication do you want us to contact you with? Which day of the week do you want us to contact you with? Then it builds trust. If we do that, I'll be talking about that a little bit later too, but it also builds trust between us and the customers, and trust and relationship is the absolute key to having a good sales in with our retail or online shop. Why? Because there are tens of other shops that they can sell the same thing to you. Of course, this doesn't apply to everyone, because there are some shops that just send the unique products. But if we are a big commerce that sells the products which are available also elsewhere, then how we can win the customers is of course by price. And let's not kid ourselves, this is the biggest standpoint, but also the sales process, the personalization, the relationship that the customers have with. Because if they have a good experience with us, those customers will come back. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that. Okay, so to move forward, how does it work? How the customer preference center works? So you can build the customer preference center in Sales Monogram. So you can just first provide what kind of data you want to ask your customers, because this is not a set in stone form. You can adjust it to whatever you want, and you should, because the questions that you ask for your customers, the preferences you ask, depends on what you sell and your strategy. So you build your customer preference center to collect the data that you want, that you require. Then you can put it, as I said, on your website. You can put it in the profile of the customer. You can put it a redirection to that customer preference center as a welcome program, because it just seems natural that if we welcome the customer, if we just do some sort of nurturing to the customer, it is okay to ask them, okay, so once you're here, what would you like to see? What are you looking for? Right? Because as I said, they will give us the information. Ascender made the test, and it was 83% of the customers that were willing to do that. So we should do that. Then what do we want to use the data for? Because we are talking about building. Now, once we have collected those data, what can we do with this? First, personalize. This is easy. So if we know who the customers are, what they like, we can personalize the message. Because if you saw the first slide, you saw that if the message is directed to me, it says, "Hi, Michał, it's good to see you. Congratulations on your purchase." I already feel the relationship. I feel the care of the company. Like, they don't have millions of clients. I mean, of course they do, but they care about me. because they send me this personally. Okay, I'm not kidding myself. They not send it to me personally, but this form of relationship that can only be acquired through automating the marketing, through collecting the data, creates this personal relationship with the company. So the more we can get to the customer on one-to-one level, the more it's just more effective that way. Then recommendations, because it's not only about personalizing the email, because even if we make the most beautiful personalization, we will create a personalized birthday wishes with the name of your mom and your dog, if we know that. Even if we do that and the content of the email, the offer is not, it's not relevant to the customer, then they will just smile and leave, because we offer them nothing of value apart from some, light words. But if we use this for recommendations, the products that we offer to the customers, the services, the travel destination that we offer to the customers, because this is not only retail, it can be also the travel. Zero-party data in travel agencies are, I think, they're even more impactful than in the e-commerce. But the content, the actual content of the offer that we send to the customer is the crucial part, because this is what drives the conversion. This is what drives the effectiveness, the revenue of the message. What is within the communication? What we actually offer to the customers? Because again, I will be going back to the examples a lot. Because if I bought an iPhone, then the AirPods, they go well with it. The case, of course, I will want to buy a case, and of course, I've been thinking about buying the case, right? But I have multiple shops where I can buy the case. I have multiple travel agencies that can send me to Egypt. I have multiple shops where I can buy the shoes. So when I get this personal message and I have it a discount code even for me, I will go for it, because it pays to go for it for me. So if we have the right content for the customer, then we are this closer to the conversion. And again, you are not able to go one-to-one with all your customers. You need automation. And in order to have the automation, you need data. So we are talking today about the absolute fundament of everything that we do, because there are a lot of strategies to achieve that, a lot of different campaigns that you can do. But as a building collapses without the fundamentals, the same way our campaigns will be useless if they are not based on data. Then segmentation, of course, if the automations are not the only thing that is done within marketing. Of course, the regular engagement with the customers, the segmented bulk campaigns are also the big drive of the automations. And between us, the bulk messages are an enormous source of revenue for the customers. When I work in customer success, of course, the automations had the higher efficiency. Of course, the open rate was. I'll actually give an example. Say we had in bulk messages, we had an open rate of 15-16%, right? Because this is sort of standard, up to 20 if you do it well in e-commerce. Then our automations, they went to 60% open rate. They went to 20% click-through rate. So of course they are more efficient, but you send much more mass campaigns. So they are a huge source of revenue. So if you want to do them right, you have to have your segments, because the more organized you have your database, the more efficient, the more effective it will be. So segments based on the data, again, that you collect are crucial. Again, another fundament to your campaigns. Because if you have a huge database with no segments, with no organization, you guys all know what happens if you don't have organization, right? So segments, crucial. And automation is actually an interesting part, because automations are usually triggered based on some actions, right? So someone went into the website, they add a product to the cart, they haven't finished the purchase, so they abandon the cart. We want to, recover it. So we have the behavior of the customer, which triggers the automations. But the zero-party data can also be a trigger to automation, especially in Sales Manager. All data, every single piece of data that is collected from the customers, it can be used as a trigger for the automation. So is a little example, for example, if someone says their favorite brand is Adidas, we can send them automatically the offers that we have for Adidas, because maybe they won't tell us, I want to buy this, because they don't have time. They just simply check the box. What brand do you like? I like Adidas. And then this gives us first the data for personalization, the data for recommendation, the data for segmentation, and also it can trigger an automation to send them some Adidas content. So I know there was a lot to digest, but this is how important it is to have it. And this is all of what we just discussed for the past, I don't know, 10 minutes. This is all that Customer Preference Center can do. Of course, with the integration with other tools, but the Customer Preference Center is crucial to achieve this level of personalization and relationship with the customer. Okay, moving forward, what it does for us, like from the higher level standpoint, customer intimacy, which is one of our pillars that we boast, is that we create this this relation, this intimacy with the customer. They like us because we send them what they like. So they open the email and they see what interests them, because nobody likes it when you open an email, you see absolutely useless content, you delete it, and you've just effectively wasted 15 seconds of your life. So creating this relation of intimacy, one thing. Customer lifetime value, increasing the engagement, because at the end of the day, we, as bad as it sounds, we are not here for the relationship with the customer. We are here for their money so that they buy our products. So the higher the customer lifetime value is, the more they buy from us, the more money they spend, the more before that they engage with us they are, the better off we are. So like down the road, the Customer Preference Center and zero-party data is a drive for our revenue. So increasing the customer lifetime value, of course, not directly, because what increases it directly is our engagement, right? The mailings, the automations based on the behavior, the retention campaign that are aimed to keep the customer with us, like the cross-selling you said at the beginning, to sell them some accessories, some complementary product. This is what drives the value of the customer. This is what drives our revenue. But in order to have everything, all of that, we have to have data. Then data ethics. This is big, because with all the legislations, it is beginning a maybe not difficult but very strict area to collect the data. So if the relationship with the customer is built on the informed transfer of data, if they know what is happening with the data, if we comply with their decision, because if they say, I want to receive one message per week, I don't want to receive any more than one message per week, and I also would like to receive a web push, one web push per week. If we don't comply with it, then they'll, okay, I don't like them. They are shady. They don't respect what I told them, because I have a right to request that. They didn't respect it, I will go to a different shop. So having this relationship by having this respect and compliance with the customer's consents is again crucial. And then cookieless world, it is a slogan that is being so close to us now, because cookies are still there. They will be there for some time, but they are being less and less effective in comparison to what they were before, because cookies are really important, of course, and they are useful and they will be useful, because some people delete the cookies, some people deny the cookies, but let's face it, most of us, they just accept them and they're there. So cookies are still a very useful type of data, but the cookieless world is on the horizon, because the changes are so dynamic now that we are not far from people just refusing the cookies. Okay, now for the use cases, just a light one, because I will have a whole bunch of use cases for you later on. When it comes to the recommendations, so the recommendations are mainly created by AI, by some patterns of behavior, and they are sometimes, if you don't have enough data, they are sort of hit or miss. Mostly hit, but sometimes the recommendations are not what the customer was looking for, because they can be based on the cookies, for example. And what if someone else visited the website? What if they were just browsing? So first, the recommendation based on the first party data, they can be accurate, but they also can be not accurate. So with this, we are avoiding the AI, because if the customer tells us what they want to see, then we don't have to assume it based on the behavior. Again, knowing their needs more thoroughly, we've just spent half an hour talking about this. And then allowing customer to have more control on their consents, on their monitoring. This is also a big part to, because let's face it, the customer, if they want, they can refute their consent anytime they like. And despite us maybe making it difficult for the customer, they still can freely refute their consents through the email, through some buttons or cookies. So if we give them a very transparent option, just again, through Customer Preference Center, they can just manage their consents. Then they see, okay, this company is transparent. They let me do what I want with the consent because I can. I like them again. So being transparent with the customers is very important again. Now, I've been talking about CPC so long, but it is not the only way. So because CPC is a big one, but it hasn't been around forever. So if we don't want to use CPC, because there are so many other things that we can collect the cookies with, we can use different tools. For example, progressive profiling. So when you enter the website, when you get to the website and you see one pop-up, a web push agreement form, a cookie agreement form, then you see another pop-up because the marketing team messed up. Then everybody hates it if they are simply attacked with tons of content when they enter the website, and they just wanted to see the discount for the t-shirt. So to not be invasive and to create a very pleasant customer experience for the customers when they enter the website, we should not ask for too much at the beginning. So if because on the other side, we need to ask for some contact information, because the lead generation, that's creating new contact database, new prospect database is important, because we are working with our current database, of course, with the clients, but increasing your database is crucial to increase your company, your business, your revenue. And the customers who has willingly shared their data with us, who told them what their name is, what the email are, and other data, they are first active, which can't be said about the 100% of the database, because there will be, of course, some database that is not active. And again, the 80-20 rule, 20% of your database generates 80% of your revenue. So you need to focus on those valuable customers. Of course, you have to focus on all of them, but 20% of your customers, they generate the huge part of your revenue. So collecting new customers, generating new leads to your database, which are active because they just filled the form, they are willing to share the data, and they want to engage with us because they asked us to share our contents, our offers, our newsletter with them, is very, very big opportunity for us, because if they share the data with us, they are expecting the communication from us. So lead generation is a huge part of any company growth. Of course, the optimization, the implementation, or more marketing strategies, of course, but lead generation is again a fundament of growth of the company. So to do it right is a hugely important part of the marketing strategies, and not being invasive is one of them. So there are two sides to the coin here. One, we need to collect the data. we need to be a little bit invasive, but two, we can't be too invasive. We can't ask for too much at the beginning. So the answer is really easy. The progressive profiling, it means that at the beginning, in the first visit, say, we ask for the email and the name, and we send some nice message greeting the customer to us. Then we add them to a welcome program to educate them about the company, to show them what we can do, to, again, build this initial engagement. But then we need that further data. We need that information, the preferences, maybe some additional, maybe phone number if we want to connect with them through SMS, Viber, or WhatsApp. Maybe the birth date if we have the birthday campaigns, but maybe the preferences on what size they like, what brand they like. So in order to collect it, we can just show them a simple form on their further visit, like third, second, or even further down the line, to show them a simple form that says, hi, what brand are you looking for? Because you want to buy a guitar, and brands of guitars are really important because, you know, the quality and such. So what brand do you like? Or where would you like to go this year on holiday? I want to go to Cyprus. So I check the box Cyprus, but I also consider Greece because it's down there, because I just want to go south, right? So I will also consider Greece. So yeah, so I want to go here. So the customer checks 2 boxes, and that's it. So we say, hi, Mark, it's good to see you. Where would you like to go? Check the box and we'll show you the offers. And this makes sense for the customers because as a travel agency, as a e-commerce, we have thousands of products or destinations. So for a customer to have to look through them, it's a burden because everybody has limited time. So if the company wants to make it easy for them, they will be willing to share their data. So to display this, hi Mark, where do you want to go? Just check the box. The Mark checks the box. It is sent to their contact type, because we don't ask for the name of Mark because we already know it. We don't ask for the email of Mark because, again, we already know it. So we just ask for the information that we don't have, and then we connect it with the contact card in Sales Manager. So to seamlessly, progressively profile the customer, it just works both ways. For the customer, they receive what they want to receive, and for us, we are enriching the profile of the customer and also building this relationship even further. Then we have other methods, because customer preference center, progressive profiling are some of them, but there are really a lot of ways to collect zero-party data. I won't be reading this, nor you have to read all of this, because I will, of course, be sending this presentation to you. But like quizzes for the customer, online polls, questionnaires, contests. I actually had an idea yesterday when I was preparing for this webinar. I had an idea that if we are an e-commerce business and we can give discounts to the customers, why not create a poll that gives a 1% discount for each data that you provide? So provide your brand preferences, you will get 1% discount. Provide your pricing preferences, provide your channel or frequency preferences, you can get 1% discount. And this can, for example, all account to 10% discount so that we don't go out of business. But if the customer can build their own discount and they can build their own profile just seamlessly, because let's face it, many people just sign up for the newsletter for the discount. And if along with that, so they're willing to sign up for the newsletter. So if they can provide us with more information because they actually get a real benefit for that, then I think this will be very effective. So I will actually talk to some of my colleagues in customer success if they have client to implement it, because I'm actually really curious if that will work. But yeah, the point here is we have a lot of different ways, strategies, and tools to collect the zero-party data, because, as I said, Customer Preference Center is not the only one. We have different ways to achieve that. But going down the line, how? So to collect this data in different channels, in multi-channel, we can ask and then we can check. Because I'm talking about zero-party data, and zero-party data. But first-party data, while having its disadvantages, also have huge advantages, because first-party data, of course, is the data that we as a company, we see, we monitor of the customers. So what they browse on the website, what kind of offers they display, what time of the week they go to the website, also how they interact with our communication. So if we send them a welcome program with different offers, with different products, which one they clicked, let's segment it based on what they clicked, because it shows their interest. Then what they purchased, what category of product they purchased, what price segment they purchased, how many products they purchased, how long it was since the purchase, how often they make purchases, because this gives us, again, information. For example, what is the typical interval between this customer purchases? Okay, this one purchases every 3 months. This one purchases every 6 months. So let's adjust our offers to them, because using RFM segmentation, so recency, frequency, and monetary, we are able to collect all of that and use this along with the predictive analysis from, again, Salesmanago. We can see that this customer makes a purchase every 3 months, or for example, this customer goes on vacation every year in July. So this is the exact moment where we should contact them. So again, having this segmentation based on first-party data is very crucial too, because if they don't tell us, so if the customer, they just don't want to tell, because it is the case. Some customers, they just don't want to share the data, what they want, because that's their choice, which they are entitled to. So first-party data can either be a help in that, or we can verify the data with the first party. So they told us they want to go to Spain, and we see on they are actively researching Spain, and we see that now is the moment that they will be going to for the vacation, because past 2 years they always were going to Spain in September because the prices were cheaper. So the system can recognize that. We should recognize it automatically and send the offer with the content, with our best offers for Spain for that time. Because if we know when they want to go, where they want to go, and which price segment they choose, then they will choose us. And this applies to all other verticals as well. It's not only travel, it's all of the others too. So first party data, they give us the behavior of the customer. So we can either build our profile on this, or we can just double check the zero party data, the preferences that were given to us by the customers through their behavior. And just keep in mind that our communication is crucial, because all of it is monitored, so we can see the behavior in the communication as well. Okay, now all of this, everything that we've just talked about, it creates a profile of the customer. So this is our goal. We have so much different types of data for the customer, which all of them we will be using for the communication. So again, I will not be going through all of this with you to read it, but this is different types of data that we can collect, and then we can use through different types of source from the customers, and then this all is transferred to our engagement through different channels, right? So this all is, it's a seamless machine that the fundamentals, the data, they just they go forward to create those personalized campaigns. So this 360 customer profile is, well, the ultimate creation which we want to base our campaigns on. Sorry, I have a question from Urs. Hi, Urs, by the way. What do you do if zero and first party data contradict each other? Zero party data are more static than behavioral data. Exactly, Urs. So if they contradict, the most sensible thing is to base our campaigns on what the customer tells you, because zero party data, it has been established, so I would say it is a fact that they're more reliable than first party data. So I would go with zero-party data if they contradict each other. So, but of course, this is my strategy. Different companies can have different results. Different databases can have different preferences, right? So there are strategies, there are good practices that are applicable to most. But in order to get the one strategy that works for your database, you have to see and test, right? The A/B tests, the verification, the growth intelligence. So analyzing your campaigns, seeing what results you have, where you have some room for improvement is key to having an effective marketing strategy, because no one is all-knowing, no one's omnipotent. So your database will be different from the next one. So basically this should work, but check and verify. So yeah, so I would say zero-party data, but you can only see it on your effects and your database. So test, verify, A/B test, see that the analytics is a crucial part of business. So but that's why Sales Panago has three fundamentals: customer intimacy about data, precision execution about utilizing this data to have the precise campaigns, but also growth intelligence is the third type of data, third pillar that is important to get this marketing to the, to the next level, because you verify what you actually do. Okay, but back to the thank you for the question, Jules. Back to the to the topic. The 360-degree profile shows us the customer from different angles, and depending on the campaign, depending on what we actually need, we can utilize this data, and it gives us a lot of advantages. Like I've listed them here for you, that you have this customer view from different angles, so that you can engage them in different tools, in different verticals, in different places. So it is a key to having most precise engagement for the customer. Now, the outcome of all of this is the omni-channel communication, because email marketing, yes, is the biggest channel of communication. And frankly, it will be for some time still. But adding other channels of communication is crucial, because, for example, web push communication, it complements emails like almost seamlessly, where emails fall short. So, for example, you can't send an email to a person who hasn't provided you with their email, right? To the anonymous contacts. You can't send an email to someone who hasn't give you their opt-in, double opt-in consent to receive marketing communication through email. Web push, none of this. You can send web push to your anonymous database. In order to receive a web push, the customer just has to click allow the notification, and that's it. They don't need to provide us with any personal data. They don't need to tell us who they are. They don't need to tell us what their email is. They just can do click, and they can receive web push. So we can target the anonymous database with web push notifications. Of course, if we know the customer who gave the consent, we can do dynamic web push notifications. We can do remarketing. We can do recommendations in web push notifications. Then we have SMS channel, which, because everybody receives SMS, because it's hard to not see the SMS because you have this annoying notification. So, so the SMS is also a reliable channel of communication, along with Viber and WhatsApp if we want to use this. Then a huge tool, social media marketing, Google ads, Facebook ads, because most of them, they do it. They send Google ads. They base it maybe on Facebook segmentation, but they base it on some other criteria. But if you have so much data that we have just talked about, you can actually target your Facebook and Google ads so much more precisely if you know your target group. So based on the data that we have, based on the segments that we have, we can target our campaigns. And what it does, first, it increases the efficiency, the conversion of those campaigns. But second, we send a lot less, right? Because if we have a targeted group, we don't need to send a bulk social campaign. So we save so much money while maintaining the revenue, because the conversion is higher. Then a enormously important one, a website personalization, because website at the end of the day is what the customer sees, where they buy. So if you are able to provide a unique experience for the customers on the website, so when they go to the website, they see a banner that is adjusted to where they are in the sales process, because you will be displaying different banner if someone isn't even a client yet. You just want them to sign up for the newsletter. You want to welcome them. You will be displaying a completely different thing to if someone is already a client. And your goal at this stage of the sales process is to keep the retention, to keep their loyalty, and to cross-sell some more products to them. So the content will be completely different on these different types of the sales process. So if we are able to adjust it to each customer automatically, then they will see the exact content that will be interesting to them on the website. Then the product recommendations. So along with your huge database of products and what things you can offer to the customer, if those 10 on the main page are what the customer is looking for, it will just speed up the buying process and ease up the buying process for the customer. So website personalization, along with the other channels of communication, first, they work together, but also they increase the effectiveness of your campaigns. This omni-channel communication in the preferred channel by the customer. So why do we want to do that? Two things. One is that if they receive the customer in their preferred channel, because we ask them, what channel do you want us to use? I want to receive emails because I hate web pushes. I don't want you to send me SMS, but I still want to see the offers. Send me emails. Okay, we will send you emails. So this is effective because the customer will open these emails. They will see what is within that message, but also, and this is what I touched on a little bit at the beginning, we are sort of making a contract, this initial contract with the customer. Where to send you content? In email. Okay, shake hands. And then we fulfill that contract. So we are doing what we promised we do. So this builds trust. Trust builds engagement. Engagement builds revenue, right? So even the small thing that being, fair with the customer, it can give this final push of the customer to our direction when they're choosing where to buy their scooter. Then days and hours specified by the customer. Again, this is a similar thing really, because if they tell us I only want to receive emails on weekends and on Wednesday because this is where I might make my shopping. If we listen to the customer, if we adjust it, first it will be on the top of their inbox, because if they get, for example, 17 emails on Monday from the different companies, but they only plan to open their inbox on Wednesday, and our message will be on top, then it gives us the conversion or higher channel of conversion. And again, it is a showing that we listen to the customer. So again, very, very important. And then preferences. So what they want to have in that offer, because like the conclusion from all of this would be to when to send the email to the customer and about what, right? So if we follow what they tell us they want to receive, what is interesting to them in the given moment, then the emails will simply have higher conversion, and then we'll have higher revenue. So, basing on all of what we've discussed so far, the product preferences within the communication is like this tip of the spear, because we build everything before, and then what is displayed to the customer in the email will give us this tipping point to make the conversion. Okay, I actually want to give a little bit of time now for any questions that you have, because the last part of the presentation will be just sort of me making a point. So before we get to that, do you have any questions to what we've discussed so far, on maybe any unrelated questions, which I will try to answer? I will be very happy to talk to you all about your, maybe even your reflections on, maybe you disagree with me, which would make me most happy, because then we can engage in a conversation. So if you have any questions, just feel free to ask them in chat. Okay, so while you hopefully write the questions or just think of them, I'll just tell you what I mean here by making a point. So all of what I've just told you was theory, right? So what we should do, how we should do it, why we should do it, what is the base of doing it, right? But what actually to do, why we should do this, the practical examples of how this is utilized. Because if I tell you that there is something that works, I also should be able to tell you how to do it. What can you do with this, right? Because if I tell you zero-party data are important to use them, you may ask, okay, but how should I use them? What can I do with them, right? So we have just spent almost an hour. We will be here. We'll have been here for an hour once we finish, but we have been here for an hour talking about why you need the zero-party data, why it is important. So to make a point, I just prepared this for this webinar. There is so many use cases that you can just go and use for the zero-party data. All of that and more, but I just didn't have the space. All of that is the use cases on how you can use zero-party data in different verticals. So you see what we have just discussed for the past hour is applicable to so many things, regardless of what your business is, what you do. We have so many uses for zero-party data, for first-party data, for personalization. Because look, each of this is actually a link to a slide I created for you. All of this is the use cases that you will be able to utilize those zero-party data with. So if you find, for example, your vertical there, you can just see what can you do with your vertical with zero-party data, how to utilize this. So the point I'm trying to make is that it is really applicable to so many industries, to so many use cases, that it is much more important to know that if we personalize it right, then it will most likely be also useful in our case, right? So it will be, of course, sharing this with you, so you can just check this at your own convenience, what kind of use cases we have, for example, for the subscription services, right? Or for financial service, or the reminders, or smart home appliances. There is so many of these, right? So I will be sharing this with you, and if you want to discuss something, or if you just figure out some questions after you have read this, or you had some time to dive deep on this, you can just email me, or you can just hit me up on LinkedIn, because I'll be so glad to talk to you. There is actually a question from Urs again. I find it very complex to travel between transactional data, preference data, and behavioral data. Could, in the end, help AI to balance between the different data categories. Any thoughts on this? So AI nowadays is expanding significantly. It's being research is being developed. So balance using AI between those categories and create segments, I think it will be the future, because right now AI isn't just there yet to manage the data and create the data. Create the segments, for example, based on this. Okay, no, let me throw back. AI is there. Just the tools that implement AI to do that are not there yet, but I am sure they are on the way. So I think that it is the future. Actually, it is the future, Urs, because on our roadmap Sales Manager roadmap, there is a AI-driven implementation. So the AI will be actually suggesting and creating the implementation for you way down in the future. But this is one of the roadmap directions of the Sales Manager, to be a fully AI-driven platform. And by AI-driven, we mean that the campaign can be created by AI. It can be suggested by AI. So the segments based on behavioral, declarative, and transactional data, the AI will be, should be, I don't want to say will, but should be able to, process those segments and those data and create segments based on those. So, Urs, I think you are onto something here, and I'm really curious to see how it develops. And again, thank you for the question. Okay, so I think we are out of the questions now. So I would like to thank you very, very much for the participation, for the discussion, and I really hope you have gained anything from you've benefited from the webinar a little bit. As I mentioned, if you have any further thoughts or points, just feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn or on email. I'll be glad to connect with you and discuss this further. But for now, I wish you an amazing rest of the day, the Thursday, and then the weekend down the line. So thank you very much and have a great day.